Welcome, everyone. We're excited to have you today for our February webinar celebrating advancing throughout the year. Today, our guest speakers will focus on how to leverage community partnerships to enhance youth mentorship programs. And by the end of the webinar, you'll have a clear understanding of 2 youth mentorship programs and learn proven strategies that you can implement in your own youth services to increase access and effectiveness of your resources. Now, a little bit about advancing throughout the year. Live Well San Diego is celebrating 15 years of promoting health, safety, and well-being. And as a part of this milestone, we're hosting a year-long series of webinars, networking events, and online engagement. So many of you may have attended the Live Well Advanced Conference and School Summit this past November, and this webinar is an extension of that event. We're here to stay connected, share new insights, learn from our community partners, and continue the important work that we started together. So I'm Sharon Hughes. I co-manage the youth sector with the county's Live Well San Diego support team, and I'm going to be your moderator today. Here's what's on the agenda. We'll start with a quick activity on the Virtual Connection Hub platform. Then we'll hear from our partner presenters, Big Brothers Big Sisters and Project Next. And then after presentations, we'll have some time to ask our presenters questions. Lastly, we'll have a minute or two for an anonymous feedback form. So let's get started. First, we will start with a quick discussion question on the Virtual Connection Hub, or we like to call it VCH. And so we're going to take a pause here to give you some time to answer that question. And to do so, you can click on the link in the chat or scan the QR code on your screen with your phone. And our question is, what strategies or creative approaches have you used to collaborate with organizations to support youth? And remember, there's no wrong answers. Your answers are going to be displayed on VCH so that everyone here can learn from each other. And to submit your answer, you can click New Post. You can input your email and whichever screen name you'd like to use. And here you're not creating an account with a password or anything, so it's very easy to participate. And then you just type a few words or a sentence that answers the question. And then your answer will be displayed as a sticky note on VCH. So we will pause for the next 2 minutes and give you time to answer that question. All right, thank you all. The VCH discussion question will continue to be active, so feel free to submit your answers throughout the webinar. And now we'll get into the presentations. To ask speakers questions, you can submit your questions in the Q&A box, which is a button at the bottom center of your screen. If you have comments to share during the presentations, you can input those into the chat box. Our first presenter is Sarah Beth Cooper. She is a project coordinator with Big Brothers Big Sisters. She has a bachelor's degree in psychology, master's in public health, and over a decade of experience in health and wellness. Sarah Beth recognizes the importance of community collaboration and prevention initiatives to promote health equity and is committed to improving health outcomes for youth by leveraging mentorship as a violence prevention and intervention strategy. Take it away, Sarah Beth.
Thank you so much. I'm going to share my screen. All right, can everyone see my screen and hear me okay?
We can.
Awesome, thank you so much. Yeah, again, I am Sarah Beth Cooper. I'm the Cal VIP project coordinator, which is our initiative to use mentorship as violence prevention. And I've been with Big Brothers Big Sisters for about 1.5 years now. And my screen is not changing to the next. Oh, there we go. Okay. Our mission here at Big Brothers Big Sisters is to create and support one-to-one mentoring relationships that ignite the power and promise of youth. This is just a little bit of background information about us. We were founded over 120 years ago now, 121 in 1904. We've served San Diego for over 60 years. We are the oldest and largest youth mentoring program in America, and we do follow an evidence-based practice. And this is just a little bit of the stuff I'm going to go over. So I'm going to go over our mentorship model, how folks can engage with the program or enroll as a little or big, the practices that we have in place to support our matches and sustain them long term. I'm going to share just a little bit of statistics on our national and local impact, talk briefly about using mentorship as violence prevention, and then just additional ways that you can support our program and youth in the community. So what is mentorship? So if you Google mentorship, it'll say, a period of time where someone is getting guidance from someone else. But anyone who's ever had a mentor knows that it's a lot more than that. So obviously you're offering support. Mentorship can offer support through little or big challenges. It's also guidance, but it's also connection. It's connection to another person and another point of connection to your community. It's opportunities. So, our organization matches bigs and littles, and they go out and explore San Diego, so they get the opportunity to explore different hobbies and interests, but it also gives them the opportunity to explore different career paths and different perspectives. The mentoring relationship is also really unique. There's a mutual respect there, and then that's skills and things that kids can take into their other relationships. And it is also violence prevention, and we'll talk a little bit about that later. So this is just an overview of our service delivery model. It was based on foundational research that showed after 18 months, littles with mentors were less likely to engage in unhealthy or risky behaviors, such as substance use, skipping school, and peer-to-peer violence. And then since then, our organization, as well as a ton of other organizations, have done a lot of research on mentorship and found a lot of really great benefits like academic success, more community engagement, positive mental health outcomes, things like that. And so there's different types of mentorship program structures. There's group mentorship, there's peer-to-peer mentorship. Our local agency focuses on a one-to-one model. So, each child is paired with one mentor, and they do their outings one-on-one to really focus on that personalized and individualized attention for the child. And we also have a community-based model. So we're not site-based currently. So that means we don't meet at like schools or community centers or anything like that. Our matches will do their outings out, in the community. And so what is a big and what's a little? So this is what we call our mentors and the youth in our program. So bigs are adult mentors. 18 or older who want to give back to their community or make a difference in someone's life. And then littles are youth in the community that want to have a mentor. And this is just some information about the folks that we serve. So over half of our kids come from a single parent home. Almost 20% come from a military family, and about 10% have an incarcerated parent. And so there's a special part of our program called Operation Bigs. And this is for us to provide an additional layer of support for children in military families. And then we also have Sports Bigs that we relaunched, and it's a really cool program where bigs and littles who are interested in like sports or physical wellness are able to be matched, and then they get special access to different clinics and like workshops throughout San Diego. So I know they've done workshops with like the San Diego rowing team. They've done surfing classes. They've gone hiking. Lots of really cool stuff like that. All right, so this is the eligibility criteria to enroll kids into the program. So we serve all of San Diego County, so families must live in the county. We enroll youth ages 6.5 to 16, but once they're in the program, they can stay up until they're older. We actually have another part of our program called Big Futures. So we help a lot with career readiness and college prep, things like that. Youth do have to want to participate in the program, so we're not currently a part of like diversion services or anything like that. Like we have interviews with youth and ask them like, do they want to have a mentor? Why do they want to have a mentor? What can they see themselves doing with their mentors? And we make sure to let them know that, these mentors are there to take them out to do things that they're interested in. So typically, youth want to participate. And then we also have a 6-month commitment. And then this is the eligibility criteria for volunteers. So they also have to live in San Diego County, be 18 or older, and have a valid social security number. And child safety is our top priority. So all of our volunteers go through a strenuous background check. We look into driving record, make sure they have auto insurance, all that good stuff. And we also get multiple references for all of our volunteers as well. And so this is kind of how we make a match. So that's probably our most asked question, is like, how long does it take to get matched, and like, what does that process look like? And so we don't have a typical like first come, first serve wait list. It really kind of depends, and there's a lot of different factors that go into matching. And that's kind of the cool thing about our program is we focus really hard to make compatible matches. So one consideration is geographic location. So bigs typically will pick up their little from home or school or, whatever they're comfortable with. So they're going to live fairly close to each other, usually within like a 15 to 20-minute drive. We also consider the volunteer strengths and what the child's needs are. We want to make sure volunteers feel comfortable, that they can provide the support that the child needs. We also consider background and preferences for both volunteers and for families. So some folks will have a preference for like an older big versus a younger big, or vice versa, or maybe want them to be affiliated with a specific religion or, something like that. So we want to make sure that everyone is really comfortable with their match. And then most importantly, we match based off common interests. So research shows that if mentors and mentees enjoy spending time together, doing their activities, then they're more likely to stay matched long term. So if we have a really artsy child that likes painting and drawing and doing crafts, then we're going to match them with a big that also enjoys doing those things. And then, so what does it take to be a big? So like I said, we have a 6-month minimum commitment. It used to be a year. We recently reduced it to 6 months. Life is different now. Folks don't necessarily plan out their lives as far in advance as they used to. And so we want to be accommodating and make sure that we are taking innovative strategies to our program. But matches meet a minimum of twice a month for at least 2 hours each time. And even though our initial commitment is 6 months, our average match length is currently about 33 months. I think so once they get matched and are, building that relationship, they end up staying matched for a lot longer. And then once folks are matched, we want to, make sure that folks are still getting the resources that they need, and we're providing support. So this is our team. Everyone is really committed to making sure matches are successful, and everyone is feeling really supported. So this is some stuff we do. So all of our matches are assigned someone called a match support specialist. So they'll do monthly check-ins. They will reach out to parents and guardians, the child and the big, to see how everyone is feeling. They can also offer guidance and provide recommendations on like how to connect or like different activity ideas. We also do external referrals. So this is one way that we collaborate with other community partners. We want to make sure that folks have access to other resources. So we try to connect them with our partners like we've partnered with Saluna and Bright Life Kids, which are both virtual behavioral health services for California families. And then we also host match activities to keep, matches engaged into our program. So they do tons of stuff. They've gone fishing a ton. And we give out tickets to Padres games and soccer games. And I know one of our match support specialists hosted a like board games in the park. So really low key stuff too. They can go and hang out. They like hung out on like a blanket and just this local organization brought a bunch of board games and like taught the kids how to play. So that was really cool. And then we also provide additional support. So we have quarterly events for our bigs so they can engage with other bigs. It's actually really amazing to see some of our more seasoned bigs connect with some of our newer ones and be able to kind of offer that like support and reassurance. It's really, really cool. And then we have training and workshop opportunities as well. Just last year, we did the community resiliency model training, which was great. We've also done gang awareness and prevention, LGBTQ plus inclusivity, all types of different opportunities. And then we also have something called the Learning Exchange. So it's a virtual platform with online videos and other materials and curriculum on a variety of topics like online safety, trauma-informed services, and that's accessible to our bigs and our families and our staff. And then, so when youth join the program, they take our outcome survey and then it's administered yearly after that. And so these are all things that we measure and is to make sure that our program is having the intended impact. And there's just some statistics on our national and local impact. So we have 230 agencies serving over 5,000 communities in all 50 states. We have over 400,000 families participate every year. We have about 450 active matches right now in San Diego, and last year we served over 600 children. And in 2024, 98% of our 12th grade littles graduated from high school, which is higher than the San Diego County average. And then this was based on a large scale study, showed that youth compared, when littles were compared to youth not in our programs, littles were less likely to begin using illegal drugs, less likely to begin using alcohol, skip school, skip class, and also less likely to hit someone. And then this is local data. So this was for our littles last year that had a baseline survey and at least one follow-up survey. And so we found there was a statistically significant increase in emotion regulation, academic performance, social competence, and educational expectations, and a statistically significant decrease in depressive symptoms and getting in trouble at school. And so now we're just going to briefly talk about using mentorship as violence prevention. So research consistently demonstrates that it's an effective prevention and intervention strategy because it addresses both risk and protective factors for being a victim or perpetrator of violence. So this is an example of a partnership. It's actually not local here to San Diego, but I thought it was very cool. So Big Brothers Big Sisters partnered with emergency departments at a different agency. And so when youth would come in with some type of, violence related, peer violence related injury, they would connect them to a Big Brothers Big Sisters mentor. And what they saw was improved self-efficacy in avoiding violence and kind of preventing that like retaliation violence that can happen. Also showed decreased aggression and problem behavior at 6 months in 10 to 15-year-old assault injured youth. And the intervention also showed a significant decrease in reported misdemeanors and aggression. And then this is just some more information about how mentorship can be used as violence prevention. So mentored youth are less likely to join gangs. It's been linked to improved conflict resolution skills. Mentored youth show increased school engagement. Mentorship programs promote pro-social behaviors. There's been a sustained reduction in criminal behavior and violence into adulthood, and there are also lower rates of death by suicide. And so these are some of our efforts. So specifically within my role and our initiative to use mentorship as violence prevention is we are really focused on collaborating with other organizations. So, connecting with schools and faith-based organizations to raise awareness of our program, connecting with youth mental health services. That way we can really connect our families to the services that they need. Um, connecting with youth that have already been involved in the juvenile justice system, also connecting with other Cal VIP grantees. We also want to uplift other folks, initiatives and things that they're doing in the community because we really do believe that collaboration is the best way that we can serve the most amount of youth. And then through our mentorship, we offer trauma-informed mentors. We offer gang prevention. Like I said, we're making those referrals to other organizations. We're providing those engaging activities and connecting those kids with, positive adults so they have those connections. And then, measurable outcomes as well. And so, kids that live in zip codes that have been disproportionately impacted by violence. That's what kind of determines whether they're part of our Cal VIP initiative. 145 of them have gained a mentor since July of 2022. And then we don't have all of our data yet, but some kind of early qualitative data. According to mentors, youth showed improved self-esteem, confidence, and the ability to advocate for themselves. And then according to parents, youth have improved their ability to connect with others, had more academic consistency, and also had better relationships with their siblings. All right, so these are kind of the ways that you can help support our program and youth. So obviously you can volunteer to be a big. We're always looking for bigs, specifically big brothers and Spanish speaking bigs. You can share our program information. Word of mouth is our most common referral source. So if you work with families, definitely let them know that our program exists. We actually have a lot of big sisters currently waiting to be matched. So now's a really great time to refer young girls to the program. There's essentially no wait time. Our Young Professionals Committee, they help us fundraise and stuff so we can ensure that our program remains free for everyone that wants to participate. We are a nonprofit, so you can always contribute a monetary donation, and you can also attend our events and participate in those fundraisers. And then I wanted to talk about one of our, match success stories. So this is Xavier and Mark, and they were matched during kind of the beginning of the pandemic. And so for the first couple months, their like outings were done virtually, where they would just kind of like talk over Zoom and stuff. And they stayed matched, and I was told that Xavier was very, very shy and like very reserved and kind of had a hard time, coming out of his shell and being able to connect with his big, but Mark stayed really consistent. And I was able to meet them in person at the end of last year. They came to our job fair where we had all of these bigs come and like share about their careers and stuff. And the littles were able to like go around to different booths and learn about, all the great things that our bigs are doing in their professional lives. And he was like so, professional, and he was able to go up to all of the bigs and like ask all these questions. And he just had so much confidence. He was also as tall or taller than Mark. And yeah, so that was just really cool to see. And he was really interested in, excuse me, and doing like culinary stuff when he got older. So that was really cool. And then yeah, just the single most common factor among children who develop resilience is at least one stable and committed relationship with a supportive parent, caregiver, or other adult. And so it's just kind of a reminder that mentorship can play a role and have such a big impact on kids' lives. And then if you are interested in being a big, you can join one of our virtual or one of our volunteer info sessions. We do them virtually. And we also have an event coming up March 6th. There's going to be free like drinks and wings and stuff. So you can scan that QR code and we'll also put it in the chat. And these are just some of our upcoming fundraisers that you can participate in. We have a 5K anyway, and also a golf marathon coming up. And then I know we're going to take questions later. So if you do have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat. And I also have my contact information here. Please feel free to reach out, especially if you have, any collaborative ideas. And I'll also put my information in the chat as well. But thank y'all so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Wonderful. Thanks so much. I loved hearing those stories. That was a great presentation. So next we're going to have Sarah Montooth, who is the program director at Project Next. Sarah is a passionate educator with over 20 years of experience helping students explore their interests and plan for the future. As a former high school counselor and proud alumna of Point Loma Nazarene University, Sarah believes that preparing students for their futures requires collective effort, and she's proud to be part of an organization that helps bridge these gaps. Along with Sarah, Jenny Orlando, a programs coordinator with Project Next, will also be presenting. Jenny is a dedicated community leader with a strong background in education, nonprofit leadership, and program coordination. She's been engaged with the San Marcos community since 2002, serving on PTO boards and helping establish a new K-8 school with San Marcos Unified School District. Jenny also spent 5 years on the Project Next board as their secretary and board chair. Go ahead, Sarah and Jenny.
Great, thank you so much. It's wonderful to be with all of you, and thank you so much, Sharon, for inviting us to be a part of this conversation this morning. We are Project Next, and as Sharon so nicely introduced us, my name is Sarah Montooth. I'm the programs director at Project Next.
Hi, everyone, and I'm Jenny Orlando, the programs coordinator here at Project Next. Sarah and I are very excited to have the opportunity to share our passions with you this morning. We can go on to the next slide. I'd like to start by asking you all to take a second and think back to your high school self. Did you have any idea at the age of 16, 17, 18, what you wanted to do once you graduated? I know the answer to this question because when we talk about Project Next, most adults say, man, I wish I had that when I was in high school. If you actually knew what you wanted to do when you were in high school, did you actually know how to get there? Did you know if it would require a college degree or if it was the way of an apprenticeship? If it was a college degree, did you know what major you should be looking at? If you knew what major you should be looking at, did you even know which colleges you should be looking at that would line up with those passions? Were you provided opportunities to discover and explore your interests? Now imagine if students today, no matter their background, were afforded that opportunity. If they were given the opportunity to actually visit workplaces, talk to real life professionals, and have a dedicated mentor in their corner. Welcome to Project Next. Our mission is to help students plan and prepare for their future, the future that's best for them. And we can go to the next slide. We all know that in today's society, students don't always have the tools to build that best tomorrow. At Project Next, we help students gain the clarity, the confidence, and the connections to do just that. By working with our career coaches in our future centers, and I'll explain what both of those terms mean in a few moments, students become clear on what they want to do. They build the confidence in themselves and their ability to get themselves there, and they make connections that help them along the way. What's next for these students goes from a question mark into an exclamation point. Next slide.
As a former school counselor myself, I remember the daily challenge of wanting to provide deep, individualized support to every single one of my students, but simply just not having the time or the resources to do so. With more than 500 students oftentimes on my caseload, I often found myself helping seniors submit last-minute college applications, scrambling to answer last-minute financial aid questions, and wishing I had more hours in the day to guide the students who felt completely lost about their futures. The reality is too many students walk into their post-high school years unprepared or on a path that they truly didn't choose for themselves. Some followed the default path of college without understanding their options, while others enter the workforce without knowing about more stable, higher paying careers. And unfortunately, students from low socioeconomic or disadvantaged backgrounds, first-generation college students, and students of color often disproportionately are affected. They don't always have access to the same networks, resources, or guidance as their peers. Next slide. At Project Next, we believe that no two students are the same, so why should their paths after high school be? Too often, students feel pressure to follow certain formula for success, whether that means going straight to a four-year college or jumping into the workforce without exploring all of their options. But the truth is, success looks very, very different for everyone. I think we all know that our paths were never the same. That's why we focused on helping students uncover their strengths, discover their interests, and explore every possible avenue before they make their next move. Whether it's college, trade school, an apprenticeship, the military, or a career, we make sure that they're not just making a choice, they're making an informed choice that fits their future. Next slide. Our vision at Project Next is simple: a world where every high school graduate can step into their future with confidence. Too many students leave high school unsure of their next steps. And that uncertainty can lead to missed opportunities, financial struggles, or feeling stuck in a path that just doesn't fit them. When every student graduates with a plan and purpose of their own choosing, we feel like we've done our job. We're not just helping them prepare for what's next, we're helping empower them to own their next. Next slide.
So where does all of this amazing work take place? Project Next is currently partnered with 5 high schools in North County, San Diego, 3 of them in San Marcos High School, Mission Hills High School, and Twin Oaks High School, 2 high schools in Escondido High School and Escondido Charter High School. In each of these school sites, we have a dedicated Future Center. This Future Center is not a typical classroom in any way, and you can tell if you're looking at the two pictures on this slide, that does not look like a school classroom. These are 2 of our Future Centers in San Marcos right now. These Future Centers were designed with input from students and with the guidance of professionals from Qualcomm and Cultura, who donated their time to work with and mentor these students and helping them to create an inviting and engaging, a safe, and really just a super cool place on campus. Each of these Future Centers designs and feel is unique to their own school campus, and it really reflects the culture of that school. We think these Future Centers are even more unique because they are on the campus. Students don't need to leave the school in order to work with Project Next. We're able to meet students where they are, removing any barriers to access. Next slide. In these Future Centers, Project Next staffs a full-time career coach. Even though they are Project Next employees, they seamlessly fit into the culture at the school. They work hand in hand with the counseling staff, oftentimes receiving referrals from the counseling staff or the teachers for students that would benefit from the programs that Project Next offers. Students can make an appointment to meet with the career coach before school, during the school day, or after school. They're available to help any student explore their interests via the Super Strong assessment, guide them through writing a resume, or help them look for a part-time job, just to name a few things. Sarah's going to talk in a minute about the different programs that Project Next offers to specific students, but we really wanted you to see these Future Centers and the career coaches and to understand really how special it is to be there on campus and see what it's like. You see students walk in, students from all walks of life, and they'll walk in and they'll pop in just to say hi to Mr. Alejandro, or they'll tell Ms. Tiani about getting that part-time job. For many students, this career coach is the only trusted adult in that student's life. Next slide.
So I know the discussion today is centered around mentorship. Mentorship at Project Next looks a little differently than most mentor programs. At Project Next, we know that relationships are the key to success. We just don't provide resources and programs. We build connections with students that help them feel supported, understood, and prepared for their future. Our career coaches play a unique role in this and become mentors to many of the students they work with. They aren't just there for one-time meetings or quick check-ins. They are on campus in our future centers and available to students daily, helping them explore options, navigating challenges, and feeling confident about their next steps. For many students, having a consistent, trusted adult to guide them makes all of the difference in the world. Whether it's discussing career interests, walking through college applications, or preparing for an interview, our career coaches are there, not just as advisors, but as advocates who help students see what's possible and to take action towards their goals. At the heart of everything that we do is connection, ensuring that every student feels seen, supported, and ready to step into their future with confidence. Next slide. These three programs, what Jenny was mentioning, are what our career coaches are really spending the most of their time with making connections with students. The students that are in these three programs are the programs that our career coaches have probably the deepest connection and mentorship with these students. The first one being our ambassador program. We like to call these students our walking marketing team. They are on their campuses spreading the word about Project Next, and we're really just empowering them to be emerging leaders in their community and on their campuses. Our Focus Futures program is a program for first generation, low socioeconomic students, historically disadvantaged backgrounds who see themselves wanting to go to college, just not having the resources or the support to get there. And so our career coaches are helping them with all aspects of making sure that that dream comes true. And then our Accelerate program is for workforce-bound seniors who, continuing their education just isn't on their radar. They would just like to enter the workforce. And the goal of this program being that they have a job either before they walk across that stage at graduation or, shortly afterwards, or going into a program that will help them find and secure a livable wage career, one with growth, one with benefits, something that they can see themselves doing long term. Next slide.
Besides those program students, career coaches also see approximately 10 to 15 additional students during the week, what we call drop-in students. They come in for things like, they make an appointment to come in for things like resume writing, a part-time job search, or to practice an interview because they have an interview coming up for that part-time job. Quite often, these students come back again, but this time they bring a friend or two with them. Our executive director, Lisa Stout, likes to always say that students vote with their feet. Students can also meet with the career coach to learn about their strengths and their interests by taking the Super Strong and then reviewing those results one-on-one and really diving deep into what they've learned with their career coach. Our future centers even have these very cool VR headsets, which can be used for virtual college tours, career simulations, or even another way to conduct mock interviews. Next slide. In addition to services, Project Next also offers workshops and events. At each school site, students have the opportunity to participate in what we call #adulting workshops, career chats, and Money Matters workshops throughout the course of the year. For each school site, we have 4 to 6 of each of those bullets I just said, the adulting workshops, career chats, and Money Matters workshops. So that's a lot of opportunities throughout the course of the year for students to go into the Future Center and learn some real life skills. The adulting workshops, as my kids used to say, it's like AP Life. Those types of things are topics like creating your own brand, the importance of your signature, first impressions, and even how to make a phone call. Our Money Matters presentations are financial literacy workshops presented by our banking partners and geared towards students. And career chats are just representatives from out there in the community coming in and sharing their career journeys with our students. If you think about it, the professionals that come in and give career chats, really they're just providing mentoring to tomorrow's workforce. In addition, Project Next takes students on career expeditions, or career nextpeditions, as we like to say. These are off-campus visits during the workday so that students have an opportunity to see careers in action. Our program students receive personalized priority invitations to these visits from their career coach, and then when there's additional space, we open it up to all students on campus. Some of these site visits are geared towards students that are going straight into the workforce, so they can really see some opportunities out there. And some of them are for people where you are some industries where a degree may be required. We always tell students that even if they have visited a site and they've decided they didn't like it, they don't like that company they visited, that there's value in knowing why they didn't like it. Was it the work itself? Was it the location? Was it the size of the company? What was it that they didn't like? And they can learn something even from that.
One of the most exciting and impactful events we host every year is our annual multi-industry Connect to Careers events. This event is designed to bridge the gap between education and the workforce by giving students direct access to professionals from a wide range of industries. For many, many students, this is the first time they're able to engage with people who work in careers they might be considering or haven't even heard of yet. It's a really amazing event. Our networking events, or like we like to call them, next working events, are one of the most amazing events that we have developed. At Project Next, we know that networking isn't just about making connections, it's about building confidence. That's why we host next working events with local companies, a hands-on interactive event where students learn and practice essential skills of professional networking in a supportive environment with the help of industry professionals. Students gain real-time feedback throughout the event and walk away feeling more comfortable and capable in a professional setting. Our Interview Skills Day is also one of a huge event that we do at each one of our high schools. We all know that every student is going to face an interview at least once in their lifetime. And whether it's for a first-time part-time job or an advanced career opportunity, or maybe even a college scholarship, we want to make sure that students are prepared, that they feel like they're ready for those crucial moments. Like I said, it happens at all 5 of our high schools on 2 separate days with over 100 professionals who volunteer their time to discuss practical interview skills and share personal and professional insights with the students then, and it inspires confidence and readiness. Those are the ways that we connect students with people, again, going back to the relationships and the quote unquote mentoring that we do. We also take students on college and vocational school tour trips so that they can see just firsthand what happens in some of these companies, because seeing is believing. Many students struggle to picture themselves in a college or vocational training because they've just never set foot on a campus. And so we want to take them so that they can see that. The visits break misconceptions, they spark new possibilities and give students the clarity and the confidence to make informed decisions about their future. Next slide. I'd love to share just a couple of stories about 2 of our students. These are just 2 of many success stories that we have. The young lady on the left-hand side, Jaylee, was one of our Accelerate students who just never saw herself going to college. Throughout the course of working with our career coach, we found that she was really interested in cybersecurity. And so we connected her with the connections that we have at Viasat. And so she was able to sit down and talk with someone, again, creating a mentor type relationship. and eventually learned that college really probably was something that she needed to do, but had no idea how to get there. So our career coach helped her through that process. She is now a student at Cal State San Marcos. And the woman that you see in the photo heard her story at one of our fundraising events and was just very captivated and wanted to help out and wanted to be a part of her life story and how she changed her trajectory. And she's currently offering her a paid internship. And so she's working with her, and just what a great success story. The young man on the left-hand side is Anthony. He told our career coach, I don't want to do school anymore. I'm over it. I just can't even imagine going to school any longer than I already am. And mentioned just throughout the time working with our career coach that he loved working with his hands and wanted to continue doing that. So they explored all kinds of options. We were able to connect him with a program called Homemade. He went through the program, graduated, and now he's working in one of the trades industries. So just again, these are two of many success stories that we have with students. Next slide. At Project Next, we know that success isn't just about what you know, it's about who you know and what experiences you have. Too many students graduate without real exposure to career opportunities, leaving them feeling uncertain about their next steps. We bridge that gap by connecting students with local businesses, industry leaders, and professionals throughout the career expeditions, next working events, Connect to Careers, and much, much more. These experiences give students hands-on exposure to the different fields, helping them see what's possible and how to get there. When students step into workplaces, engage with professionals, and learn directly from industry experts, they gain more than just information. They gain clarity and confidence in their future. At Project Next, we don't just talk about opportunities, we create them. Next slide.
Thank you for listening to us share about Project Next. As you know, nonprofits rely on time, talents, and treasures. To get involved and volunteer your time or talent by becoming a sponsor or hosting an event, you can scan the QR code under volunteer form. To share your treasures, you can use the QR code under donate. All of this is also on our website. The next one. That's it.
That's it. Thank you so much, everyone, for letting us just share about our passion of helping students find their future and just how they get there. Thanks so much.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I loved hearing about your program and your stories. Thanks to all of our speakers, Sarah, Jenny, and Sarah Beth, for those wonderful presentations. We're going to get into some questions now. If you haven't already, please put your questions in the Q&A box and your comments in the chat. We'll start with a few of the pre-submitted questions that were asked when attendees registered, and then we'll move on to a few questions submitted during this webinar. So first up, for Sarah Beth with Big Brothers Big Sisters, how can students access mental health services quickly and effectively, including when using Medi-Cal or their private insurance?
Yeah, thank you for the question. So we are not experts with Medi-Cal, and we don't provide direct mental health services. But we do connect our youth to other services in the community. And so we do that several ways. Families can get resources through their match support specialist. And we also send out monthly newsletters highlighting our partners. And like I mentioned earlier, Bright Life and Saluna are really great options that are, virtual behavioral mental health services for youth. I hope that answered the question.
Nice. Yep. Thank you. This next one is for Sarah and Jenny with Project Next. What are some free activities that can be offered on school campuses after the school day?
So our career coaches are available to students 30 minutes before school and 30 minutes after school is dismissed. And we also offer drop-in services and organized programming during the summer break and over the winter break. during the school year, we only serve students at our partner schools, but during the summer and winter breaks, Project Next is available to any high school student.
Yeah, I'll also add that we have partner programs with other organizations. One that's coming to mind is we partner with USD's Ready program. That's an after-school program where we're taking students to companies in the construction commercial real estate industry. Sorry.
Alrighty. And this is for all speakers and probably a question that most of us working with youth would like to know. What are some strategies for keeping youth engaged and motivated during the mentorship process? What resources or tools can be provided to mentors to help them be more effective in their roles?
Yeah.
Y'all want to go first? Go ahead.
Sure, no, we can. I think for Project Next, students remain engaged, mostly because of the relationship with their career coach. They know that they have somebody that they need to be accountable to, and that their career coach is looking out for them. In terms of keeping our career coaches, effective in their roles, our career coaches use each other as a resource. Like I said, we have 5 of them, so they have each other. They share their presentations, their ideas. They attend regular trainings, like FAFSA trainings or the UC conferences, that type of thing. In our model, Sarah and I do as much as we can behind the scenes for the career coaches so that they can focus on the actual student piece in the daily work of Project Next, and we believe that this allows them to be more effective. And also at Project Next, I believe that we have a generous time off policy that aligns pretty loosely with the school year. So there's some built-in breaks that really lets those career coaches refresh and recharge and be the best that they can be for their students.
Yeah, and then through Big Brothers Big Sisters, our most, I guess, important strategy is making sure that we are creating compatible matches. So youth and bigs both are able to stay engaged when that relationship feels easier, and authentic, and they're able to connect on a little bit about their background. They're able to connect on the things that they like doing in their free time. And then also as an agency, we try to offer a really diverse range of activities. That way we're kind of catering to, all the different interests of our matches. And then as far as, keeping our bigs, engaged and feeling like they're being supported, they can definitely take advantage of the training and workshop opportunities that we have. And also, like y'all said, how they're able to connect with other career coaches. We also really promote connection and community amongst our bigs, and they can kind of help support one another as well.
Nice, love those ideas, thanks. Okay, this one is for Sarah and Jenny. It sounds like people are really excited about those future centers. What are the first steps for expanding those services? Like if an organization is ready to get one into a new school, what are those first steps look like?
Yeah, great question. And I'm gonna punt that to our executive director. No, I'm just kidding. It takes some time. I mean, obviously we have to have an MOU with the schools, with the school district. So it does take time. I would recommend reaching out to us. And we can connect you with the right people. We all know, I think all of us on this call know how important it is to help students realize and see their future. And so, yes, eventually, like I said, in a perfect world, we want to help every single student realize what that future looks like. And we feel that our future centers are a great place to go. So we are looking to expand. We also want to expand at the right pace, so that the work that we do is meaningful and is impactful. So I would recommend reaching out to us and let's start the conversation.
Nice. And then Sarah Beth, for Big Brothers and Big Sisters, if a youth serving organization maybe has a group of youth that they would like to match with a mentor, what are the steps to be able to do that? Do you do any like group-based things or?
Yeah, great question. So as of right now, we are only doing our one-to-one model, but you can definitely refer people to our program. We can also come out to your organization and talk to a group of kids or, their families and share our program information with them directly. But yeah, if you have a group of kids, they would all just enroll as individuals and then go through that process.
All righty, and I think we may have time for about one more question. What are some ways that, and this is for either organization, what are some ways to get involved with community partners, and how can us here on the call kind of spread awareness of these organizations?
Sure, I'll take that one first, and then Sarah Beth, I'll let you answer afterwards. Um, we're always looking for partners, either to come to some of our events and work with students one-on-one or in a small group, do career chats. We're always looking for community partners to bring students to their locations, so to get students off of their campuses and see firsthand what jobs and what companies are like. We're always looking for sponsorships for events and things like that. So community partners who would like to sponsor an event. Say, for example, our Connect to Careers event, those tables are company-sponsored tables, and they bring their employees to come and talk to students. So it's not just one person from a company, we're asking several. But just exposure opportunities, I think, is what we're looking for in a partnership. So we would love for everyone on this call to spread the word. And if you know of a company that's like, kids don't know about this, or I know someone that can connect someone else. Again, we preach that it's not about what you know, it's about who you know. And so we feel the exact same way. We know the importance of relationships and of connection. And so we're looking just for everyone on this call to make the connection for us.
Would you mind saying the question one more time, please?
Yes, one more time. What are some ways to get involved with community partners? How can they spread awareness of your organization?
Okay, great. Thank you. Yeah, so it depends on the type of partnership. Folks can definitely just share our program information. They can share our flyers. If you want to be highlighted in our newsletter, like if you offer a service to families, you can definitely reach out to me directly, and I would love to highlight your services and let folks know. As far as like corporate partnerships and stuff, that is a really great question for our CEO. And if you want to connect with me and send me an email, I can absolutely connect you to her, because I know that we have those types of partnerships. It's just a little bit outside of my role. But I know that we are always looking for partners, also looking for sponsors for our events and things. And so yeah, the first step is just reaching out to us. So if you reach out to me and I don't know the answer, I can definitely connect you to someone who does.
Wonderful. All right. Well, I want to thank you all for your presentations today. Thank you for sharing your programs with us, all the valuable insight that you shared in this conversation. It was really wonderful. We'll also be sharing answers to questions in our recap email. So if we didn't get to those, we'll share that information as we follow up. And before our announcements, we'd like to let everyone have a little bit of time to let us know kind of what they thought about this webinar. We'll add the link in the chat, or you can scan the QR code. And I'll pause here for a minute. You'll basically just a couple of questions, the ones you see on the screen. You can let us know what you thought. We'll pause for 1 minute before we close. All right, I know that was a very quick minute, but it's noon and I want to respect everyone's time. Thanks so much for completing that feedback form. It'll continue to be open. if you didn't have too much time to complete it. For upcoming events, we have a webinar about county contracts in 2025, what's new for small businesses. It's going to be this coming Tuesday on March 4th at 1 p.m. We also have Supporting Neurodiversity in the Workplace, a webinar and career panel at the end of next month on March 27th at 1 p.m. For more information on these events and to register, you can visit our Virtual Connection Hub website or use the link in the chat. And that's all the time we have together for today. Thank you again for everyone who have joined us today, and we hope to connect with you soon.